It was November of 2008. I was a sophomore at a community college about 3 hours from home, and I was driving back for Thanksgiving break. My roommate Dana was supposed to come with me. She backed out 2 days before, some family thing on her side, so I ended up going alone. I had a stack of burned CDs on the passenger seat, a printed set of MapQuest directions folded up in the cup holder, and an old GPS unit my dad had given me that liked to lose signal anytime you got more than 10 miles from a real town. I left around 4 in the afternoon, which should have gotten me home well before dark. But there was construction on the interstate, a long backup near an exit that wasn't on my directions, and by the time I got clear of it, the sun was already low. My GPS suggested a shortcut through the back roads to save time. I figured, why not? That was my first mistake. Tonight, another voice will take you down that road.
The shortcut took me off the interstate and onto a 2-lane state highway that cut through farm country. Cornfields on both sides, already cut down for the season, just brown stubble running out to the tree lines. Every few miles, there'd be an old farmhouse set back off the road, sometimes a light on, sometimes not. The GPS screen flickered once, then went to a blank gray screen that just said, "Acquiring signal." I tossed it onto the seat and went back to my paper directions. About 40 minutes in, I noticed I was almost out of gas. I hadn't planned on that. The shortcut had eaten more time than I expected, and I pulled into the first place I saw, a little station with 2 pumps and a hand-painted sign that just said, "Gas, food, and bait." There was an old man sitting near the window on a stool, drinking coffee out of a paper cup, and he watched me the whole time I was pumping gas. Not in a way that felt dangerous, just curious, the way old men in small towns watch anybody they don't recognize. When I came inside to pay, he was still on his stool, and he said, mostly to the man behind the counter, "That's the 3rd strange car through here today." The guy behind the counter was maybe 60, wearing a flannel jacket even though it was warm inside. I paid for my gas and grabbed a bottle of pop and a bag of chips, and while he was ringing me up, he asked where I was headed. I told him the name of my town, and he got quiet for a second. "You taking 9 through the Kessler stretch?" he asked. I said I thought so. It was the fastest way according to my directions. He nodded slowly. "Just be careful along there tonight. We had some trouble out that way last month. Fella from the county came through, said there'd been some things happening, vehicles broken into. One lady said somebody flagged her down for help, and then it turned out to be nothing. No car at all, just somebody standing in the road. She didn't stop, thank God, but it spooked her pretty bad." He asked what I meant by the 3rd strange car, and the old man said he'd seen the same dark-colored pickup go by twice already that afternoon. Slow, like it was looking for something, and once with what looked like 2 people in the cab and once with just the driver. He said it in the flat way old men say things, not trying to scare anybody, just making conversation. But it stuck with me. I asked him what he meant by nothing, no car at all. He shrugged. "That's just what she told me. I don't know the whole of it. Sheriff's been through here twice asking questions." "You got a phone on you?" I held up my flip phone, and he seemed satisfied with that, though he warned me the signal got spotty out past the Kessler crossroads. I thanked him and got back on the road, telling myself it was probably nothing. Small towns talk. People exaggerate. 15 minutes later, I saw the sheriff's cruiser parked at a crossroads up ahead, engine running, headlights on. I slowed down out of habit, and he stepped out and waved me to a stop. He asked where I was heading, and when I told him, he leaned down to my window. "Do me a favor," he said. "If you see any kind of trouble on this road tonight, a car pulled over, somebody waving you down, anything like that, don't stop. Drive to the next town and find a phone. There's a diner about 8 miles up that's open all night, and there's a payphone outside it. You call it in from there." I asked him if something had happened. "Nothing I can talk about yet," he said. "Just drive careful." I thanked him and pulled away, my hands a little tighter on the wheel than before. The cornfields on either side looked darker now, the last bit of orange gone from the sky. I turned the radio on for company, some classic rock station out of the county seat, and tried to focus on the road. About 10 minutes past the crossroads, I saw headlights coming up fast behind me. A truck, dark-colored, maybe green or black, hard to tell in the dark. It rode my bumper for almost a full minute, close enough that I could see the shape of the driver but not his face. Then, just as suddenly, it swung out and past me, speeding off into the dark ahead. My heart was going pretty good by then, but I told myself it was just some kid in a hurry to get somewhere. 20 minutes after that, I passed a bicycle. A kid's bicycle, small, laying on its side right at the edge of the road, one wheel still spinning slightly, like it had just been dropped there. There was no kid in sight, no house close by, nothing. I almost stopped. My foot actually came off the gas, but the sheriff's voice was still in my head. Don't stop, and something about the whole scene made the hair go up on my arms. I kept driving. Not 5 minutes later, the radio started to crackle, that in and out static you get when a signal is weak, and then it cut out completely, replaced by dead air. I reached over and switched it off. My flip phone, when I glanced at it sitting in the cup holder, showed 1 bar, then no bars, then 1 bar again. A minute or so after that, my headlights caught something reflecting off in the ditch to my right, low to the ground. 2 small points of light that blinked and vanished. Could have been a raccoon, could have been a deer. I told myself that's all it was and kept my eyes on the road, but my hands were sweating on the wheel by then. That's when I saw the same truck from before, or one that looked exactly like it, parked now, off on the shoulder up ahead, lights off, facing the wrong direction like it had turned around. As I got closer, I saw it pull out slowly and fall in behind me again, keeping a steady distance this time, not riding my bumper, just following. I sped up. It sped up. I slowed down to see what it would do. It slowed down too. I was maybe 2 miles from where the gas station clerk said the trouble had been happening, the Kessler stretch, when I saw the lights up ahead. Orange lights, flashing, the kind you'd see at road construction. There were cones set up across the right lane, funneling traffic left onto a road I didn't recognize, a gravel road that cut off from the highway and disappeared into the trees. A sign on a wooden sawhorse read, "Bridge out, detour," in spray paint, the letters a little uneven, like somebody had made it themselves rather than the county. I slowed down at the cones. There was no work truck, no crew, no Orange County vehicle anywhere in sight. Just the cones, the sign, and the flashing lights, which I realized after a second were just a couple of battery lanterns with orange gel taped over them, sitting on the ground. Ahead of me, I saw taillights. A car, a light-colored sedan, had already turned down the gravel road. I watched its lights bounce over the ruts, and then, within a few seconds, they were gone. Not around a bend gone. Gone, like they had simply switched off. I sat there at the cones for a second too long, my blinker still ticking from habit, and that's when I noticed the truck that had been following me had pulled up close behind, no longer keeping its distance, its headlights off now too. In my mirror, I saw a shape lean out of the driver's window, and for a moment, I saw the small orange glow of a cigarette. And then, off to my right, in the tree line past the gravel road, I saw another one, and another. Further back, 3 points of orange light, spaced apart, like men standing and waiting. I didn't turn down that road. I don't fully know what made me not do it, except that everything, the clerk's warning, the sheriff's warning, the bike in the road, the truck, all of it stacked up in my head in that 1 second and screamed at me to go straight. So I did. I steered around the edge of the cones, felt my tires catch the gravel shoulder for a second, and I floored it straight through, clipping one of the cones and sending it spinning off into the ditch. In my mirror, I saw the flashing lanterns get smaller, and I saw one set of headlights, the truck, pull out onto the highway behind me, no longer bothering to hide. I drove faster than I've ever driven in my life, both hands locked on the wheel, watching those headlights in my mirror get closer. then hang back, then closer again, like whoever was driving was deciding something. The diner. The sheriff had said 8 miles up. I didn't know if I'd already passed it or if it was still ahead, and for a stretch of road that felt like it lasted forever, there was nothing but dark fields and that truck sitting in my mirror. Then I saw it, lit up yellow on the right side of the road, a long building with a row of cars and, more importantly, 2 semis parked out front with their engines running. I swung into the lot so hard I nearly clipped the curb, and I didn't even put the car in park all the way before I was out and running for the door. Behind me, I heard the truck slow down at the edge of the lot. It didn't pull in. It idled there for a few seconds, long enough for me to reach the diner door, and then it pulled away, back out onto the highway, and was gone. Inside, a trucker at the counter saw my face and stood up before I even said anything. The waitress got me a chair. Somebody used the payphone out front to call the sheriff's office because my hands were shaking too hard to dial. The same deputy who'd stopped me at the crossroads showed up 20 minutes later, and I told him everything: the cones, the sign, the lanterns, the cigarettes in the tree line, the sedan that vanished. They found the site the next morning. The cones, the hand-painted sign, the 2 lanterns with the orange gel still taped on, all still sitting exactly where I'd seen them, because whoever set it up hadn't had time to come back for it. Down the gravel road, about a quarter mile in, they found fresh tire tracks turning off into a stand of trees and cigarette butts, more than a few, ground into the dirt like men had been standing there a while. They never found the sedan. They never found who it belonged to. No missing person report ever matched it. Not that year and not since. At least none that I ever heard about. The deputy told my father, not me, that they believed it wasn't the first time something like that had been set up on that stretch of road, and that they suspected it wouldn't be the last. He said the department had a theory, but no proof, and that theories don't hold up in court. About 6 months later, my mother clipped a small article out of the county paper and mailed it to me at school. It was short, just a few paragraphs, mentioning that investigators had linked the fake detour on Route 9 to at least 2 other unsolved incidents on rural highways in neighboring counties, both involving orange work lights and cones set up where no construction existed. The article said the case remained open. It didn't name any suspects. It didn't mention the sedan. I finished school, moved away, got married, had my own kids now old enough to drive. I hadn't thought about that road in years, not really, until 3 summers ago when I stopped for gas on a trip through my old college town. I was standing at the pump when a dark green pickup truck pulled in on the other side of the island, older model, rust along the wheel wells, the kind of truck you'd see anywhere in farm country and never look at twice. The driver got out to pump his own gas, and for no reason I could explain, I found myself staring at him, the way that old man on the stool must have stared at me all those years ago. He was older now, gray in his beard, but there was something in the way he stood, something in the way he glanced up and caught me looking, then looked away fast and got back in his cab before the tank was even full, that put a cold feeling straight through my chest. He pulled out of that station so quick he left the pump handle hanging. I told myself it was nothing. Trucks like that are everywhere. I never got a plate number, never told the sheriff, never told anyone but my husband that night. But I still think about that sedan on the gravel road sometimes. The one whose taillights just went dark, like somebody had reached out and switched off the whole world. I've always wondered if whoever was driving it made it out some other way, down some road I never saw, and just never came forward. Or if they didn't make it out at all, I never did learn what happened to them, and I don't think I ever will.